Hello, I'm Mr. Stratton, and I am presenting an English 10 Honors course summary for you. My English 10 Honors course begins with summer reading. During the summer, you will read Sophocles' Oedipus Rex, Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, and Huxley's Brave New World. Students are expected to complete 3 assignments relating to these works over the summer. I have left extra copies of my summer reading packet in the guidance office for any new enrollee who did not receive a packet from me at the end of the 2010-2011 school year. When students begin the school year, I collect their summer work, we take quizzes over the 3 works, and then we review Oedipus Rex before we read Antigone together. Both Oedipus Rex and Antigone are in the Oedipus cycle, translated by Fitz and Fitzgerald. After we finish reading Antigone, we take a test over both plays and the history of Greek drama. We will also have a writing clinic in the beginning of the year. The next concepts we cover are persuasive techniques, including ethical, logical, and emotional fallacies. We take a test over these techniques, we read 2 persuasive essays, and then the students write and perform persuasive speeches in front of the class. After the speeches, we cover short stories. I teach students numerous literary devices that are used in narratives, and then I expect the students to identify the use of those literary devices in the stories. Students also take a test over the literary terms. The second quarter begins with reading George Orwell's 1984. Students take notes over the novel, I give them quizzes over each part of the novel, and then we take tests and write essays about the book. During quizzes over the novel, you will be allowed to use notes, but the notes have to be your own. They have to be handwritten, and they cannot be plagiarized from Cliff Notes, Spark Notes, or any other internet source. What you will be learning: you'll learn how to read critically and carefully during this time, and you'll also learn how to analyze a novel in a thorough, scholarly fashion. After the tests and essays over 1984, we begin a poetry unit. A list of poetry terms and a list of poems will be provided at the beginning of the unit. Students take a test over those terms, and then they read and analyze all the poems on the list. Students will be responsible for printing out their own poem packet, and they will receive points for doing so. After we finish analyzing all the poems together, the students take a test over all the poems. Students also write an essay that compares and contrasts the messages that 3 poems convey about the same subject. In addition, students memorize and recite a 14 to 16 line poem during the poetry unit. The first semester exam will cover all terms, concepts, and literary works covered during the first semester. Students will also write a paper for the exam. This paper is a comparative theme analysis and is due on exam day. During the second semester, we read 5 works: Hamlet, Othello, The Count of Monte Cristo, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and Slaughterhouse-Five. During that time, students will memorize Hamlet's To Be or Not to Be soliloquy. They will also take numerous quizzes over the plays and novels, and they will write essays for each work in class. And finally, they will take cumulative tests over the books and plays. The course study requirements for English 10 Honors are pretty simple. You will have some type of homework every night. Most nights you'll be reading and taking notes. Other nights you'll be making an outline, writing a rough draft, or revising a paper. If you want to succeed in English 10 Honors, each week you will dedicate at least 5 hours of your time to studying, reading, and taking notes for my class. My expectations for my students are simple. I expect my students to always do their own work. I expect my students to come to class prepared every day. I expect my students to read every assignment I assign by the due dates I give them. I also expect my students to turn in their written assignments on time. I expect my students to take an active role in class. I expect them to take my class as seriously as I do. And I expect my students to love learning and to embrace the challenges I present to them. What you can expect from me is pretty simple also. My students can count on being challenged every day. My English 10 Honors students can count on me being extremely passionate about English. My students can also count on me being knowledgeable and engaging. And finally, my students can count on being prepared for English 11 Pre-AP once I successfully complete my course. I look forward to meeting you all in the fall. Have a great summer.